Hey, what's up everybody? It's George here and we're back with another unboxing. Today, we're going to be unboxing the iCharger 306B and the Progressive RC 500 watt power supply. But before we do, let me just take a minute and let's talk about batteries and chargers. You don't hear a lot about that on the net. With my single cell craft, I always just used the battery chargers that came with them. But when I started getting into my craft that used multi-cell batteries, I needed a battery charger and I bought the Thunder AC6. This has been a wonderful charger. It's lasted me several years, thousands of cycles on it. I used it to charge the 1100 milliamp batteries like this, which are for the Blade SR, the 2200 milliamp batteries once I got into the 450 class helicopters. But once I got into the 500 6-cell batteries, this thing started getting hot. And it was taking 35 to 45 minutes per charge. And I knew I had to upgrade, especially if I'm going to be flying the larger craft that are taking these 6-cell batteries. With that, in comes the iCharger. I looked on the internet, I looked at several different models out there, and it looks like the standard and the one that everybody likes is the iCharger. Now, the Thunder is an all-in-one unit. Power supply and battery charger are all together. This one, on the other hand, the power supply and the battery charger are two separate units. Now, I brought this from Progressive RC. They sold a combo where you get a deal if you buy both pieces at once. They have great customer service, and I was really pleased with the purchase. So let's go ahead, let's get on with the unboxing. We'll take a look and see what's in each box. Take it downstairs, put it on the bench, and then come back up and talk about it. Okay, let's get on with the unboxing. We'll do the iCharger 306B first. We open up the box. The first thing we see is nice packaging. We like to see that. Very first thing out of the box is a diskette. This diskette has the manuals on it, but it also has a program for connecting up your charger to your computer and plotting the charging characteristics of your battery. It's pretty cool. Next thing out of the box is the iCharger itself. Oh, it's heavy. It's a very heavy unit. It looks like a good heat sink. It does have a fan on the side, something that the Thunder didn't have. I can see that we have the positive and negative leads. These will go to the power supply, and balancing port on the side, as well as a temperature thermocouple port. Next out of the box is the temperature thermocouple. You'll hook this up to the charger and it will tell if your battery is getting too hot and shut it down in the event that it does. This is a good safety feature and I would strongly suggest that you use it. Next thing out of the box is a set of alligator clips. This is a charging cable, and this would be for charging non-standard type batteries. You would use the clips to attach it to the positive and negative terminals of the battery. Next out of the box is larger clamps. These are for use on your car. If you want to use your car battery to power the iCharger, you can use these. Do some field charging. There's also a USB cable. Once again, the USB cable is for connecting up the iCharger to the computer and using some of those cool features of the software. And finally, out of the box is some little rubber feet to keep your iCharger from scratching up your tabletop. They also included this Thunder Power charging board, balancing board. It has both JST and XH connectors on it, but you can only charge one at a time with this. They've also included a EC3 connector, charging connector, so it pretty much has everything in the box to start charging batteries if you have an EC3. You may have to buy another connector if you have a Dean's or a different type of a connector. So let's go ahead and let's unbox the power supply portion of this next, and then we'll go downstairs and take a look on the bench. Okay, let's get on with the next part of the unboxing, and that's going to be the Progressive RC 500 watt power supply. First thing out of the box is the power supply itself. And this is a pretty heavy unit. I can see heat sinks on all sides. It does have a fan on-off switch and power connectors. It's not a lot to it, but this is all we need to power the iCharger. The next and last thing out of the box is the 110 volt supply cord, and that's all you need. No instructions needed. You simply plug it in, plug your iCharger into it, and you're ready to go. Before we head downstairs and put it on the bench, there's a couple other things I purchased I want to show you real quick. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show you is these parallel charging boards. Now, I wanted to be able to charge multiple batteries at one time. The iCharger 306B has the capability of charging multiple batteries, and the 500 watt power supply is more than I need, and I'll be able to get out to the field quicker, get my charging cycles done quicker. I did buy two. The first one has JST connectors up and down each side and a Dean's connector. That's for charging my Dean's connector batteries. And I also bought one which has JST connectors up and down the side, but this is an EC3. So I'll be able to charge my 500 and larger batteries as well. So let's go ahead, get downstairs, put it on a bench, see what it looks like. Okay, this is the basic setup. If you were to purchase the combo, everything that you see here comes with it. And you can see that I have the 110 volt plugged into the Progressive RC 500 watt power supply. From there I'm going into the iCharger. From the iCharger I'm coming out with the Thunder Power balancing board, the thermocouple for the temperature sensor, and I happen to have an EC3 connector on this. Now this is the basic setup. This is not the setup that I'll be using. I'll be using this setup. Okay, here's the setup I'm going to be using. Everything is pretty much the same, except for I do have the parallel charging board. I want to be able to charge multiple batteries at one time. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the charger and some of its features. Okay, so here we have the iCharger. It's all powered up, and just let me say, this is not a tutorial on how to use the iCharger, but what I will do is take you through some of the features, and we'll talk about the interesting ones. The first thing that you see is the program select. This is where you would select between LiPo and NiCad type batteries. I'm going to do a LiPo, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. If I had a battery hooked up, it would tell me how many cells, but at this point I don't have anything connected. We're just going to take a look at the menu structure. The very first is a balanced charge. We all know what that is. Next is a standard charge, non-balancing. We have a fast charge, same as any fast charge on other chargers. There's a storage charge, which it puts each cell at 3.85 volts. Very good for storing your batteries and taking care of them. There's a discharge mode, and then there's one other mode which I think is pretty cool, and that's the regenerative discharge. This will actually take the power from the battery and put it back into your car battery if you used it to charge. Kind of a neat feature. It will also cycle batteries. When you have a new battery, you want to run it 3 or 4 cycles with a slow discharge to kind of season the battery. This will do it for you. You can set the delay in between charge and discharge cycles, and you can tell it whether you want to charge and then discharge or discharge and then charge. It's kind of a nice feature. Finally, there's a monitor function, and it'll allow you to monitor the stats of your battery. Overall, standard what you would expect to see. Let's go ahead and hook a battery up to it and take a look at the menu structure. Okay, so I have a 6-cell battery hooked up to the iCharger now, and we can see on the display 22.2 volts, and it does say 6-cell. The program that I'm going to choose is a balanced charge, and to begin charging, press and hold the start button for 3 seconds. It'll check the battery and begin charging. Its charging screen shows a wealth of information: charging amperage, charging voltage, balance, and all that, time it's been charging, all the things that you would like to see on a normal charger. Besides all the normal functions and things that we've talked about, it also can do motor break-in. You can hook up your motor to it and ramp it up and down and break in your motor. And it also has a hot wire function where you can use a hot wire to cut foam. I mean, this thing is amazing. It just does a ton of stuff. Another thing that I like is internal resistance monitoring. I can take a look at the internal resistance of the battery, and I'll do that by stopping, pressing and holding the stop button, and then pressing and holding the start button. Now what it's doing is it's measuring the internal resistance of all of the cells. So here we can see that cell 1 is 6 milliohms, 7 milliohms for 2, 7 milliohms for 3, and so on. This is good to monitor the health of your battery. You definitely, the lower the internal resistance, the better the battery is going to run. So something to keep in mind. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this, and I think we've seen pretty much most of the features, so let's go upstairs and talk about it real quick. Alright, there you have it, the iCharger 306B. We've unboxed it, we've taken it downstairs, we put it on the bench, we took a look at some of the features, we talked about it. My overall impression is I'm very, very satisfied. I'm happy with the unit, I got a good deal for my money, and the people at Progressive RC were fantastic. I actually did have a problem where my balancing board wasn't working right and my parallel charging board wasn't working right, and I contacted their tech support. They were great. It was actually an end user error. I didn't realize that the two cables weren't interchangeable. Once they put me back on track, everything's working great. So I hope you got a good look at it and you're able to make your own opinion, but if you're in the market for a battery charger, I strongly suggest you look at the iCharger or go and check out some of the other units at progressiverc.com. So thanks for watching, and as always, happy flying, friends. Alright, so there you have it, the iCharger 306B. Alright, there you have it, the iCharger 306B. Alright, there you have it, the iCharger 306B. We've uncharged it, we've taken it,